Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Scott.
Hey, yo. Is that his younger brother? It's gonna be
Jeff.
The cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
And you're listening to
all of the great action figures from our good friends at Hasbro.
The Fullyposeable.
Have your own Wrestlemania with all your favorite figures.
Wrestling figure.
He's sold separately from LJN.
Podcast.
And we are the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling.
Hey, welcome to episode 430 of the Fullyposeable Wrestling Figure Podcast, longest running episodic wrestling figure podcast going today. My name is Jeff, and sitting alongside next to me is my real life brother, not storyline brother, Scott. Scott, say hello.
Hello.
Scott, normally I ask you how everything's going right now, and then you proceed to tell us the weather.
I'm feeling.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, we're doing much better this week than
mostly,
last
yes.
week.
Yes.
I think we got Philly out of us for the most part. So
yes, but this week you don't care.
No, actually, no, it's not about not caring. I kind of am going to start the show off on a somber note, and this one's kind of hits personal with me. So we just lost a Bay Area legend out here. His name was Shooter Tony Jones. Tony was an all-pro wrestling wrestler out here in the mid-90s to late 90s. A lot of you may recognize that name because he was on the movie Beyond the Mat. And Tony was just an amazing human being. And I had the pleasure of not only filming his matches, but sitting with him numerous times during All Pro Wrestling when we were filming over there at the Hayward Garage. You know, to his family, we send our condolences. He was just a great human being. I remember the last time I saw him, it was at a WWE show, and he was walking up the steps, and I go, "You're Tony Jones." And he looks at me and he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "I used to film at the All Pro Wrestling Garage." And he goes, "I remember you." Him and I caught up real quick. Well, he had his son with him, and he goes, "By the way, this is my son." And I said, "It's a pleasure to meet you." And he says, "Hello." And his son at the time, I want to say, was in early teens, I want to say, but he goes, "Hello, sir. It's nice to meet you." Like a complete gentleman. And that's the way Tony was. And you can tell that Tony raised his son that same way. So from us over here at Fullyposeable, you know, we send our condolences out to his family, and this one kind of hits home a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Rest in power, Tony.
For those that want to see Tony's work, go watch Beyond the Mat. You can also see some of his matches on YouTube as well. So
exactly. Yeah. Look up those All Pro Wrestling Garage matches, man. Some of those are barn burners.
In fact, there was a match where him and Boom Boom Kamini, rest in peace, Boom Boom as well. They were having a match. And that was the very first time that I ever heard a wrestler call a spot, because there was a part where Boom Boom backed Tony into the ropes. And I was the one filming the match because it's one camera.
Right.
And Boom Boom goes, "Knee." And I kind of peered out from the camera like, that's how the sausage is made, you know, that kind of thing. So, but honestly, from us over here at Fullyposeable, you know, condolences to his family. Just a great, great guy. So, all right, Scott, how's the weather out in Tracy?
You know, it's funny. I was going to be like, dude, it's getting hot out here now. It's like that 2003 Nelly song.
Was it 2003? Oh, crap.
I don't know. 2002, whatever.
Holy crap.
Whatever. Yeah, it's starting to warm up, dude. It's definitely, the heat wave is coming.
Oh, man. If anybody want to get any of our shirts, head on over to Pro Wrestling Tees or whatamaneuver.net. You can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, and the Book of Faces at Fullyposeable, Instagram, Fullyposeable, WFP. You can go back and listen to any of our past podcasts on Stitcher, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. And you can send us any audio questions, or anything else at all. Send it on over to fullyposeable.wfp@gmail.com. Dude, I am so thankful for this cough button.
Isn't that nice?
I found this cough button on this mixer, and dude, it is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, I've got to get myself one of those. I need to get a new mixer with a mute button, so like I can cough and clear my throat to my heart's content. And it's way less editing for you.
I may just give you this one, dude.
Yeah, but then you can't put a compilation together like Eddie did for our clip show episode of Drunk Wrestling History. where he was putting like my throat clears and coughs to wrestler themes.
If I didn't, damn it, got to hit the mute button.
See that is.
If I would have known that he was going to do that, and I told him before we found out that you had something going on.
Mm-hmm.
I told him that before I knew. And if I would have known that you had that little, I don't even know what it is anymore. But if I would have known that, I would have never said a word to him.
Oh, dude, he's an asshole. He would have done it anyway. It's okay.
I don't think so, dude, because he never noticed the throat clears until I mentioned it to him. So I don't know if he would have ever picked it up.
Well, thanks for that. Thanks for breaking my Kiss figures.
Oh, that one, I take full responsibility for that one, man.
Like, what else can I throw at you? Oh, also, I meant to tell you, I have been informed by a higher source, Jeff, that I am no longer allowed to make fun of you crying when Strikeforce lost to Demolition at WrestleMania 4. Reason being is because I have officially cried at more WrestleManias than you have.
Higher source, Jeebus?
So the making fun of Jeff for crying at WrestleMania 4 torch has been passed. I'm not going to say to who, but it has officially been passed. So I am retiring from laughing at you and making fun of you for crying like a little girl when Strikeforce lost to Demolition at WrestleMania 4.
I like how you threw in like a little girl. You had to get one more in, didn't you jerk?
Or crying like a 50-year-old man when Strikeforce lost to Demolition. The torch has been passed, Jeff. I am no longer going to tease you about that.
Higher source. So Jeebus came down, said Lotus Scott, you cannot make fun of your brother anymore.
Something like that, yes.
No.
A light shone upon me.
Dude, I actually kind of welcome that Strikeforce Demolition thing because it's such a funny story.
Oh, it's going to continue.
Oh.
But the torch has been passed to another bearer.
Who's the bearer?
I can't tell you. You'll know soon enough.
Who's the Paul Bearer?
You'll know soon enough. Somebody in a black robe is going to come walking down the hallway. Hood's going to get thrown back and be like, it was me all along, Jeff. But I can't tell you who that person's going to be.
Am I going to welcome in the house, or is it just some random person that is just walking in my house with a black robe on? That's freaky.
You'll know soon enough.
All right.
So when the jokes start to flow, you'll be like, got it.
Oh, wait a second. Was it on Drunk Wrestling History?
It was not. No, we haven't recorded in a minute. We're actually slated for next week.
Okay.
We're recording the WrestleMania episode.
Oh, that's right. Drunk Wrestling History put out a tweet about, I guess, everybody's sick from Philly, huh?
Yeah, still recovering. Adam was the only one that came back with nothing.
Really?
Adam was the only one. Yeah, Carissa's still down.
Oh, man.
Eddie's just feeling better. So, yeah, dude, it went around bad.
Yeah, this cough is not going away.
Samesies, yeah.
There's another person that we were hanging out with. They got the flu. They got the mania flu.
Yeah.
And they said they were hurting big time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those things when like you're in that kind of environment with that many people, chances are pretty high that you're going to come home with something.
So I think the reason Adam didn't get sick is because of all those cheesesteaks he ate.
Exactly. Yes. He fed his body well, and his body responded by thanking him and not getting him sick.
Yeah. That's like when you get the honey from another place and it helps build up your tolerance to the pollen in that area.
That is actually correct.
All those cheesesteaks kind of built him up and made him immune to all the sicknesses and stuff.
Exactly. That's Philly's answer to honey is cheesesteaks. So yeah, you go eat a bunch of cheesesteaks, it acclimates you to their climate.
Dude, that actually makes sense in my head.
It totally does. Yeah. It totally does. So you can either eat honey or the local cuisine, and you will not get sick. It's a proven fact now, folks.
It's science.
It is, but you got to eat 10 of them.
10 of them. Scott, did you pick up anything?
No. This week, Jeff, I gave my wallet a break.
Okay.
And I did not order anything.
Okay.
I was like, you took a beating last week. I'm going to give you a break. But I would imagine I'm going to be bludgeoning you soon enough. I got my Crow figure, though. I haven't opened it yet. Yeah, I haven't opened it yet, but Sideshow shipped it really quick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had it within like 4 days.
So I do need to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So I picked up 2 Malachi Blacks from the Supreme figures.
Oh, okay. You got 2. Why'd you get 2?
because I was in an open one, but then once they sold out so quick, Norm texted me and said that he missed out on it.
Oh, there you're helping Norm. That's perfect.
So I'm helping Norm. Now, however, and I'll get to this in the news, apparently some of these were signed.
Oh.
So I opened up mine. Norm told me to open up the other one to see if it's signed, and if it is, to keep that one.
Wow. Okay, but did he sign in Sharpie or paint pen?
So from the pictures, it looks like a white paint pen.
Excellent. Good. Dude, Alister Black knows his paint.
But I actually feel bad because I've already opened up mine. It was not signed. The one that is sealed right now is Norm's, but Norm is telling me open it up and to keep, if it's signed, to keep it. But
well, no, we're going to play the odds. It's not signed, dude.
I feel bad. Like, I would feel bad opening that up because that, to me, that's Norm's figure. So what do you think?
I think that he's telling you to do it. So you should do it. If it's his figure, regardless, then you get the joy of actually seeing it. And then the next time you see him, you hand it to him and be like, dude, this is awesome.
I don't know. To me, it's Norm's figure. It's Norm's to find out if it's signed.
Isn't it funny? This is the equivalent of like a reveal to figure collectors.
Yeah.
Like a baby reveal.
Yeah, because some of these were signed, dude, and it was awesome.
That's so cool. That's so good. Did they say how many? Did they give a count of like, is it 10? Is it 5?
I haven't seen how many of them are signed. Some of them are signed because people are posting them.
Okay.
But I don't know the quantity on how many, though.
Here's the bad part, though, is unless he adopts I won't sign this item policy.
Oh, yeah, huh?
That becomes something that you could forge. You know what I mean? Like, you could still have him sign it, be like, oh, this was part of the original batch that came out. Unless there's a sticker signifying authentic one of X, whatever that total amount signed is.
I would have to see if there is. I haven't seen anything just yet, and who knows by the time this show comes out if there is. But I haven't seen anything.
That's awesome that they did it, but it's one of those things like you wish that it would be like a measured thing. Mm-hmm. Not just you throw 10 of them in front of them, you're like, hey, sign these and we'll ship them out, and hey, cool. It should really come with a COA or something, because that becomes something that can be easily forged later, unless Alister is like, I'm not going to sign any of these. The ones that were signed were already given out.
Well, technically there is, it's not a COA, but it comes with like a little card that says, congratulations, you have received.
Badass, dude.
Yeah.
Badass. Now, it would be cool if that was numbered.
Correct. Now,
so you know how many.
That part I don't know.
Okay, got it. So at least there is something. Now he can sign those, because unless you're getting that little card with it, then you know it was signed after the fact.
Yeah.
Very, very cool that Jazwares did that, dude. I love that.
I did jump in on the Mattel Creations CM Punk as well. I made sure to get
perfect. You got one?
I got two, just to be on the safe side.
To be on the safe side of an apocalypse where one gets trampled in a herd, I have one more.
Or someone forgot to get one, and
yeah, like me with that Cody figure when I kick my ass for not getting it because I never did score one.
Yeah, and see, if I would have picked up two, guess what?
I would have had one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So see.
All right. So in my list of things, my list of things that I'm mad at Jeff about, you didn't buy two Codys, and you broke his figures.
Wow, you really hate me this week.
What is going? Ask me how I was doing when we started off the show. This is what happened,
dude. I wanted to talk about Tony Jones. Come on now.
I understand, but there's going to be repercussions and consequences.
Oh my god!
You change formats and you don't tell me ahead of time. I don't
listen,
like it.
Listen, Weather Boy.
A regular Al Roker.
Listen, Weatherman.
Not as thin.
Look, I wanted to talk about Tony Jones. For once, I actually wanted to, say something nice, and you're like, well, you didn't ask me how I was doing.
Yeah, no, it was very well done, dude. That was beautiful. That was very touching. And while you did not tell me you were going to do that, I'm glad that you did. And it was great seeing Mike Modest posting pictures and videos and stuff. Yeah. Remembrance of his friend. That was great. And if you grew up around Hayward or surrounding areas and you were able to make it to to APW back in the garage days, man, those were some fun times.
So Tony Jones was part of a group called the West Side Players.
Yes.
And they came out to Machiavelli, Tupac.
Yep.
The group that I kind of hung around with at that time, we didn't know who sang that song at that time.
We were a bunch of metalheads.
Exactly. You know, we were listening to Pantera, Slayer, Metallica, all that stuff.
Right.
And exactly when they came out to Machiavelli, we were like, oh my God, this is like one of the greatest songs. And we would have it stuck in our head all the time.
It's badass and it fit that group so well.
So it's funny. We went up to, God, was it Robert Thompson who was part of that group or Tony? And we're like, we need to know who does that song. And they kind of looked at us like, are you serious? You don't know? And they're like, that's a Tupac song. And we're like, really? Like, that's Tupac? And they're like, yeah, it's called Machiavelli. So we went to Rasputin Records, Bay Area. If you guys are in the Bay Area, you'll know what Rasputin Records is.
Yep.
First thing we did next day, went to Rasputin Records, found the album of Tupac with that song on it, bought it. And
you're bumping it in the car.
Remained on our playlists. You know, it bumped it in our car. Then we got iPods. We put it on our iPods. And
yep.
Yeah.
To this day, every time I hear that song, I immediately think of the Players.
Same here, dude. Same here. I think
that song will forever be associated with them.
Sorry, we're going back to our Bay Area roots, Bay Area wrestling roots right now, but just a lot of remembrance with Shooter Tony Jones in his passing this past week. It just really hit home. So anyways, on this show, we've got the State of a KWK address with Shawn Ng. Shawn's going to go over some stuff that happened with the KWK line this past week, as well as some new signings. So stay tuned for that.
A few surprises in there for you.
Yeah, a few little Easter eggs for you guys. Scott, we got to get into this news because this news is extensive.
It is. Yes. What you said.
It is extensive.
It's that. Yes.
Oh, by the way, Eric was watching on YouTube today. It was like an old Saturday morning cartoon. It was just a block of cartoons, but Eric was watching it for mostly the commercials.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
So we saw like He-Man. We saw some mask stuff. I mean, My Little Pony, of course. And then the breakfast cereals.
I was going to say breakfast cereals were always my favorites, dude.
Captain Crunch was in there. I mean, there was so much, dude.
Mikey likes it.
Yep. There was a Twix commercial in there too. It was kind of funny, but I mean, it's just so many different commercials and toys, and it just brought back a lot of memories. So,
oh, absolutely, dude. They marketed everything to us when we were little, and we loved it. Movies that we'd want to watch, upcoming cartoons, toys, cereal, candy, soda, you name it. They were pushing it on us, and we ate it all up.
Shawn was talking about Mask because we were just like, oh, Mask was so cool. And Shawn goes, you do understand Mask was basically a 30-minute infomercial cartoon to push toys.
Yes.
And I was like, wasn't that all the cartoons in the 80s, Shawn? And
pretty much.
And he goes, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, yeah. And comic books were nothing but a full color illustration of why you should buy the toys.
Exactly.
That's all it was. 60 pages of, hey, buy this stuff.
All right, Scott, we've got a lot of news. What do you say we jump into it?
Let's talk about it.
In some big news, and this kind of relates back to toys, Rob Schamberger signed with AEW. He parted ways with WWE and was immediately scooped up by AEW.
Parted ways? Like he had a contract with WWE that expired?
That's kind of what I'm guessing.
Okay. Well, hey, we've had him on the show. We talked to him at WrestleMania, who was at 34 in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Got to see him. He set up shop at Access, and that was great for him. A super great guy. Loved him, and I wish him all the best in AEW. Continued success. Yeah,
there was a little picture that came out, and it said AEW had X, and it said Schamberger. So
nice. Good for him, man. I hope it works out well for him.
Yep. All right, let's move over to Foco. LA Knight bobblehead, limited to 224 pieces, $65. Yeah.
65. Yep.
So that is over at Foco.com.
Does it talk?
No, it does not talk.
Dude.
I know, it's missing the boat on that one.
Oh my gosh.
Let's just say, let me talk to you. Yeah. I mean, dude, the amount of people at WrestleMania that were doing LA Knight's chants was hilarious. I mean, it was just through the roof how many people were doing that.
Missed opportunity, you guys.
Oh, by the way, what'd you think of the new tag titles? Because this is going to relate back to toys, because eventually those will come out.
They will. I like them. I like the face plates on them. I like the design, but the shape of it is a little weird, if that makes sense.
Too circular?
Yeah. It's a weird shape. I don't know. They're gonna have to be around for a while longer for me to get used to them, I think.
Okay.
But they're okay. I don't hate them. I like them way better than the penny titles.
Those penny titles were kind of the bottom of the rung.
Yes, they are by far and away my least favorite tag team titles.
Correct.
These are head and shoulders above what those were. So I already like them way more. That appreciation may grow over time.
I'm excited to see what the SmackDown tag titles look like tomorrow night.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, who knows? They may be better than the Raw ones. But you'll never touch the 87 tag. Sorry.
Yeah. Wait, do you want the tarnished look or
either or? I don't care.
Okay. I agree with you. Those belts were absolutely amazing.
Love them.
Yeah. All right. Powertown. The TNA Series 1 Ultras are available at powertown.com. All four for $190, or you can get each individual one for $50. Moose will have the TNA heavyweight title with him, and Jordynne Grace will have the Knockouts title belt with her.
Those figures look great, dude.
They do. I was so tempted today. I was looking at them and so tempted.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, most likely those people will be at WrestleCon next year. That's a good signature opportunity.
Yeah, I know. So anyways, those are up for order now at powertown.com. Jazwares. I told you guys about the Malachi Black. Some of them were autoed. Also,
open it now, dude. Open it now. Do it on the show.
On the show?
Yeah, we'll do an autograph reveal on the show.
But it's Norm's.
Norm told you to do it, dude. Norm would be happy to hear it like boom on the show. And he's going to be like, did you open it? And you're going to be like, yeah, I sure did. And he's going to be like, what is it? You go, you got to download the episode first. Boom. Marketing.
Well, he already downloads the episode. He listens to us every week. He loves us.
Well, there you go then. He gets to listen to it and then find out on the show.
All right. It's in the other room, so you're going to have to do improv.
Oh, I got to improv while you're gone?
Or you can just read the Jazwares news.
I can do that.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Go do your thing. All right. Jeff has stepped away. What an asshole that guy is. You know, he comes on here every single week, leads off the show with, hey, Scott, how you doing? And I get to talk to him about how my week is gone and, you know, just BS with him. And then this week he just, nope, we're going to talk about something else. Didn't let me know first. What a jerk, man. Guy goes into business for himself. Anyway, he wants me to talk about Jazwares. So here we go. In Jazwares news, aside from the Malachi Black that Jeff is about to unbox to see if he got a signature, Daniel Bryan and the Young Bucks Jazwares Vault figures go up for sale on April 24th at 9 p.m. And CollectForever.com has a 1 of 1,000 Britt Baker uncirculated series. So limited to 1,000 Britt Baker and April 24th, 9 p.m. Daniel Bryan and Young Bucks Jazwares figures, the Vault, go up for sale.
I may have to issue it. I can't remember if it's 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. I might have mistyped that.
Oh, 9 a.m. does make way more sense.
It does. I may have mistyped that. So
9 p.m. is kind of a weird time to put figures on sale.
Yeah, it really is. And also,
cruel.
And I apologize. I didn't know that those didn't go up with the Kenny Omega and Claudio. So it's kind of good that I didn't go back and look for the Young Bucks in the I wasn't.
Yeah, you would have been like, where are they? And then you would have spent time hunting. You would have missed out.
I would have missed out on the Malachi Black. Okay. So I do have the Malachi Black right here. This is Norm's. Norm told me to open it. So I'm cutting the tape right now. Man, this thing is sealed really well. I was running with scissors. Don't do that, kids.
Yeah, it's very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Got to be a trained professional. Jeff spent years practicing it.
Mainly because Scott was having me run with scissors.
Yeah. I'd be like, dude, it's fine. This is encouraged.
Come on, Trip, you asshole.
Smokey the Bear said, play with matches, dude. It's fine. Do it right over there by that tree.
Here we go. Okay. So, popping this open. There we go. The amazing artwork on this box.
Oh, yeah. That is a badass looking figure, dude. Easily top 5 for this year.
All right.
The front of it looks like a metal album.
It does, dude. It looks like Metalocalypse. Okay. So I got to pop this open. All right. Here we go. I don't think it is, but
With your luck lately with this kind of stuff, it is not. But we'll see if your luck is changing.
See the artwork right there?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Dude, this figure of the year, in my opinion. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous. Not autographed.
Not signed.
Not signed.
Have
you seen the figure?
Yeah, dude, you showed it to me when we got back from Philly.
All right, not signed. So,
or unless you wanted it signed, not good.
Oh, that's true. I was going to give it to Norm anyways.
I know you were.
I felt horrible for even opening this.
But now he knows. Be like, dude, I was hoping.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
Okay. Sorry, I've got to put this thing back together now. There we go.
Oh, it's got corner pieces and everything too. Wow.
Dude, this thing is amazing. The packet, hands down, figure of the year, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I can't even argue with that. Yeah, they really knocked it out of the park, dude. I mean, it would be one thing to just have that as a Supreme figure, but then the packaging involved too. It's over the top.
Yeah. Just everything about this figure is amazing.
It's weird seeing you open figures.
Dude, it's been difficult lately because I've had to open a few of them.
Yeah, it hurts your heart.
Okay. All right. Back to the news. I did pull some stuff from Mattel for the Q&A from Ringside, where they were talking to Bill and Steve. First question was, since no one is asking, what is going on with Macho Man? Steve said, when he is back in the line, we will roll out the Randy Savage figures, but you know, that time is not quite yet.
And excuse me, nobody's asking. I'm sure that's the number one question that they got asked during WrestleMania weekend.
Not at WrestleMania weekend. I think WrestleMania weekend last year and San Diego Comic-Con, because they kind of alluded that they got quite a few questions at Comic-Con about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, man, has interest in Macho Man died down?
No.
At least from Mattel.
And they will roll out the figures because they've got the figures all tooled up and ready to go like that.
Yeah, they're just waiting for the green light.
Exactly.
Yeah, then we finally get that Macho Man WrestleMania 7 again.
We've seen the LWO box set. Any chance of some classic box sets, e.g. Right to Censor, Raven's Flock, Dungeons of Doom, DOA, Filthy Animals?
Do we have to? Really?
I think Breaker asked this question.
No, he didn't.
This is Breaker's area. Raven's Flock, Dungeons of Doom. Come on now.
Yeah, but he knows the copy paste. Come on. He would not ask this question. This is not a Breaker question. Breaker would ask about Harley.
The possibility of groups you just named are very limited. Look, if the talents are available and it makes a viable box set, we are going to want to do it. But we have to work with who we have.
Breaker would actually ask about Harley, and then he would ask about Arachnaman.
Oh, he would ask about Arachnaman.
Yeah, possibly Todd Champion and Firebreaker Chip too.
That would be his number one.
And Big Josh. Yeah, and Oz. Dude, how crazy would it be if this year's San Diego Comic-Con was Oz and the Diamond Stud?
I was going to say Oz and Diamond Stud 2-pack.
An Elite 2-pack.
Yes.
Mind blown.
They're not doing the comedy thing anymore for San Diego Comic-Con giveaway.
What do you mean comedy?
Oz and Diamond Stud were not serious players, if you know what I mean.
First of all, how dare you?
Breaker is now mad.
Yeah, Breaker's furious at you right now, dude. And I'm going to back him up 100% on this. Broken Kiss figures, not ordering 2 Codys, saying Oz and Diamond Stud are not serious. How dare you?
You hate me this episode. What did I do to you? The last question. How are we doing on rings and what will come in the future? We see classic Ultimate Edition rings, but it has been a while since we have had a current version.
Good point.
Steve says it seems to be the pattern that we are doing of these a year. At a point, we are going to run out of old school rings or just want to pivot to something else. So the chances are good as long as Ringside wants them.
Yeah, I have a feeling that modern rings are going to come in pretty soon.
Yeah. Before we pass it over to Shawn, I just want to go over our podcasting buddies real quick. Maximum Sweatman himself, Daniel Cross, and Breaker do Rumble Wheel. This week on TB Toycast, we had Bryan from the Legendary Podcast on. We discussed.
Oh, nice.
We discussed LJN Series 3. PPW podcast. I loved his show this past week. He had a bunch of guests on that were at Mania, myself, Breaker, Nate, a friend of his named Carrie, who goes to all WrestleManias and gets the VIP packages.
Wow.
Yeah.
Baller.
I know, right? Stolen Gimmicks, another show I love. In the Marbles Pod, dude, I picked the correct driver 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, yeah. And how are you ranking in the league now?
I moved up 3 spots.
Hey, now.
I'm third to last now.
Oh, dude, you change your team name to the Jeffersons because you're moving on up.
I love it. I actually love that.
Do it.
Legendary Wrestling Figures with Bryan. Such a great guy, man. Just honestly, one of the greatest guys I've ever talked to.
He is. He's awesome. Work
the Arm podcast with Jeff and Jamie. Pod Subject Change with Nick Dunham and his 2 kids. Ryan Buds doing trivia with Buds, another great guy. Seth, Sheena, and Marco, I think, are going to be coming on our show here shortly. Scott, they had a request from one of their Patreons that they want a crossover with our show.
Sweet. I can't wait.
So I have a feeling they are going to be coming on. Rutger's in Vegas right now.
Lucky.
I know, right? Rutger's in Vegas right now, but he and EJ do Boot to the Face. Tim's pulling up a chair with the Fig Life, and Marty and Sarah love wrestling. Also, check out Jason Wolf and his Chop Shop. He's doing some Galoobs and Hasbro customs. And of course, we're not going to leave out Steve Hoker, Starman, and Jay on TeePublic.
Love you, Steve.
All proceeds go to some girl named Charity. So,
yep.
Support that girl Charity, Steve. We're backing you.
It's the single mom's charity.
Exactly. That rounds out the beginning of the show. We are now going to pass it off to Shawn Ng. And as I said, stick through the interview because guess what? He's got some names he's going to drop. Little Easter eggs of who he has just recently signed. So let's pass it over to Shawn. Joining us tonight for a KWK State of the Union address is Shawn Ng. All right, Shawn, have you calmed down a little bit since Saturday?
Definitely a lot better now. Quite a few stuff have sorted. But when I first got them, God, I wanted to tear someone in your asshole.
So there was a little bit of a confusion, mainly on the factory's part, from what we can tell.
Yeah.
I'm going to have you go into that, but basically there was a little bit of a mix-up, but to our knowledge, everything got squared away, correct?
Well, for 3 days straight, it was a constant bashing towards the factory about the whole thing. And they were apologetic. But, and I was like, this is the first figure, that there shouldn't have been any mistakes. For how many times I've been there, I would say it's sorted, sort of.
Okay.
At least, for everything that I've been telling the customers, through my videos, that's pretty much set.
Okay.
It's just a matter of, when they are going to get the additional 100 figures done.
Okay, so let's start at square one.
Okay.
So basically you got the Mantaur figures and it ended up, and if I got this correct, they gave you an extra 100 of variant B?
Well, not exactly. Okay. So this is what happened. I just so happens that I have to pull out the 2 Mantaurs. So basically right now, okay, I'm trying to see if I can, here we go. You can see now that both one of 350, right?
Correct.
Yep.
And initially, this one was supposed to be on the red card. And this was supposedly the actual one of 350.
Okay. But it was supposed to be on the red card.
Yeah, supposed to be on the red card, but then because of that, it was a packaging error on their part. So every single one of them were. And obviously this one, which was supposedly the blue card, got placed in the red card. Because of that, the production numbers changed because of that.
Correct.
So, that's where I got really upset with. And, it ended up with after me sitting down with Asylum and whatnot, and, obviously they weren't happy and I was steaming.
Right.
So, we decided, okay, you know what? Let's create these stickers on the side to make sure that they are, that they're at the right numbers, number one. Number two was that, to make sure the factory to produce an extra 350 for this one, because this one has now been advertised as 1/350, and essentially we are 100 short.
Got it.
So, they would have to fix it, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
There's going to be an extra 100 figures, correct? Somewhere.
Right.
So have you come up with the plan of attack to what to do with those extra 100?
The extra hundreds obviously will be sold through us and Asylum.
Okay.
That has been discussed. So,
Okay.
for the people that missed out, that got the FOMO, you have a chance of getting the figures now.
Which there has been a lot of FOMO because we've been seeing a lot of people messaging you saying, "Hey, when can we get it on these pre-orders?" Well,
right. Yeah. Well, here we go now. They have a chance.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to put out a blast of when those will be available, those extra 100.
Yeah, don't expect this with any future waves or PN news.
Yeah, even for the PN news, there are people that have been contacting me saying, oh, I didn't. I mean, there were a couple of that were even being very honest and were like, oh, I didn't expect this would actually happen. And now it has happened, and they feel they were impressed enough that they wanted it, which is a good thing. I mean, most people that contacted me were like, oh, I didn't know about this.
Mm-hmm.
But part of me was like, okay, you know what? I've been kind of promoting it for a whole month on the pre-order every single time. There have been 4 figures on pre-order. So, but at least there were ones that were very honest about it and look, I didn't expect this would happen, and now it has happened. I want it.
Mm-hmm.
So with you guys, doing the reviews on the Mantaur, Kyle did one, and Fake Heel, and also the UK podcast 3POA, they did theirs as well.
Great guys.
So there are a lot of these reviews going around, and people see them and they're like, oh, okay, you know what, it's not as bad as as what some people have said about retro companies. So the whole feel has definitely changed.
Well, it's also a lot of people, when a company's first starting up, they don't trust them.
Right.
And this isn't just you. This is actually a lot of people. They're like, oh, they're just there to take our money. There's a lot of negativity when it first starts. Right. But when the figures actually hit, like you said, there's that FOMO that goes on. And a lot of people do start to realize, oh, this is actually legit. Oh, this is actually happening. And then guess what happens? Series 1 happens. And then, everybody wants to jump in on Series 1. But for example, in this case, the pre-orders are already done.
Yeah.
So this isn't a look good for Series 2, because a lot of people, once those reviews start hitting, once the pictures on the internet start hitting, a lot of people are going to start realizing, oh crap, I need to jump in on Series 2. I need to jump in on those the Conquistadors, and I'm already drawing a blank on who else is in Series 2. I apologize.
But Jeff, this is exactly what we've talked about every time that we've had Shawn on the show. Like, he's doing everything right at every single step of the way. He's got full transparency. When there's problems, he reports them, he discusses them, he fixes them, he finds the solution. But the end product, which you and I have both held in our hands in that Mantaur approved sample, was at the giveaway. You and I can both vouch for that thing, that it's absolutely incredible. The accessory fits the figure perfectly. It all looks right. The packaging is outstanding. And this is what happens when you put all of that work, all of that effort, doing the right things into a product. The finished product hits. People see it, and they're going to want it moving forward. Like Jeff said, there's a lot of skepticism because there's so many players in the game. But I think the way that you're doing things, people are going to see that finished product, and there's going to be FOMO moving forward. They don't want to miss KWK's next figure because they've seen the work you're putting in, they've seen what you're putting out, and they've got to have it. So kudos to you, Shawn, for that's a horrible thing to happen, but it seems par for the course for your KWK line so far, that if you're not taking curveballs, man, you're not doing it. But you've tackled everything, you've done it the right way, and I applaud you, dude.
Appreciate that, man. Part of me was like, I'm such a perfectionist sometimes. So, I especially, this is the first figure. I don't want it to be any sort of disappointment to everyone that pre-ordered.
Exactly.
When this happened, and that's where I went, oh my God, how could they get it so messed up? I mean, if I've gone to the factory, I would say 4 times. Was it 5 times? I don't even remember how many times I went there. For the time that I've been there, that I've told them, bit by bit what I want for the figures, the packaging and whatnot. So basically the error was done with the factory that did the packaging, because they were also packing the figures as well.
Got it.
And the foreman, who has been very nice and whatnot, he was calling me like 5 times, throughout the week, apologizing, because he was supposed to be the one that oversee the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he just kind of missed out on it, as far as the packaging part. So, he was apologetic. He was like, oh, I should have looked better and like all that kind of stuff. So, and one of the things that really bugs me as well was that when they did the tape at the back, you can see it's kayfabe heroes, right? They turned the A into R.
Oh my
gosh. So that's where I kind of flipped the charts as well, and I was like, damn, man, like, how the hell can you guys like
mess that up?
Right. It's on every single bit of the packaging. Right. The word kayfabe is like probably been printed on the outside box, been printed on the logo, everything else. You can't miss the damn thing.
What's the saying? If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. Right? Does this make you want to go to the factory at like the initial phase of producing the figure, at the initial phase of packaging and slapping? Yeah. Does it make you want to be there for that process after this? It's just been a nightmare for you.
Well, technically, Shawn was there. Like Shawn said, he was there. What?
I don't even remember how many times I went there. I would say between 4 and 5 at least.
It almost makes you want to handhold them through like the first 5 into the box. Like, okay, guys, this is the one that goes into this box. Let's do it 5 times, and then I'm going to bounce. But like, man, it's like there has to be some hand-holding here, it seems.
It's like teaching kindergarten doing shit.
Right. Exactly, yes.
I was just like, what the hell's going on, man? I'm like, damn.
You've been very meticulous in how you've laid out your line. And it always seems like the best laid plans are always the ones that get blown up, dude. So, I mean... It's like, but like, you got to consider yourself, you're like a band, right? And you're releasing your first album. It's got to be a hit. Otherwise, you're not going to sell any more albums, right? So you're doing everything right. This thing is going to be a hit right out of the gate. But it's just, man, I feel so bad for the headaches you've had to endure with this process.
You know what? I'm just waiting to see now. This week, I wonder if Kyle Peterson is going to do like a conspiracy theory stuff, on his show, and like, oh man, and Jesse the Body Ventura pops up, and your cell phones, and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're going back and redoing everything. What happened to the initial batch? Are you have all
the initial
those?
batch? Yeah, the initial batches are going to be going out next week.
Okay.
Because most people that reached out were like, we don't worry too much about the packaging anyway. We just want figures.
Mm-hmm.
So, if there are any sort of concern, one of the reasons why we added the extra 100 in order to go with, say, for example, this one, which is now the blue variant, to go back with 100, 350. Sorry, it's early in the morning. So, this is now, back in the correct number, so to speak, and this red card version is going to have an extra 100 to make it 350, as advertised on the package. So the whole thing is this. Right now, it's just a packaging error switch then, if that's the case. I hope we kind of lessen the damage a little bit by doing that. But in terms of collectability, I'm sure it doesn't change because of this. We really try to think of any sort of contingency plan that we could.
So what's going to be the time frame for the corrected packaging and everything? What's going to be that time frame?
There wouldn't be corrected packaging anymore. This is it.
Oh, that is it. Okay.
This is it. And that's the reason why we had the stickers made for the blue card version.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. That's the quickest, correct way that we could,
well,
get them out.
Well, I know that there's going to be a lot of trading for those that did want variant A and got variant B or whatever it may be, or there's going to be.
So for the people who initially ordered variant A, they're going to end up getting variant B.
Well, there's going to be a lot of trading. Maybe some people did want variant A and that are getting variant B or whatnot. There's going to be a lot of trading.
But quite a few people that actually ordered were actually ordering both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so quite a few of them will probably just change the package themselves if they want to, or they just want to keep it as they were.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I mean, look, you made it right. I know there was a little bit of a panic attack on Saturday night when
a little bit, yeah.
Oh, like for me it was Sunday morning.
Right. Well, Saturday night, I'm sitting there and I see our Instagram and I'm like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah. Once I saw that, I called the owner of the factory, literally screaming. So they, he had no idea what was going on, obviously, because, let's be honest, I'm a small account, right? He probably was busy handling big accounts.
Mm-hmm.
So, finally, on Monday, they went back and checked the inventory, like the amount of the figures that they made in terms of numbers and stuff, so, I got a call from the foreman. I got a call from the sales manager. I got calls from both of the bosses and stuff. So, I was like, hold on a second. Let's just make a fucking group and we can talk about it in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They kind of laid it out and just like what happened and all that. So, I just listed out all my demands. And then I called the boss of the factory again. And I go, okay, you know what? This has to be done. This has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm not taking no for an answer unless you want to talk to a lawyer.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's how far I went. I was like, look, I've been nice with the whole situation, but if you guys are going to be pushing me around, I'm not going to have that. And they were like, no, we're not trying to do that. I was like, you better not, because you really screwed up my line now.
Well, the good thing is that's not screwed up. Most of the collectors
understand. To me, it is.
Well, to you it is, and as you have mentioned before, just earlier, you mentioned that you're a perfectionist, and
right.
I think a lot of us collectors understand situations like this do happen. So, and like a lot of collectors have already reached out to you and said, we just want figures.
Yeah,
it's cool that we're getting variations and stuff like that, but I think mainly we just want the figure. So I think that's among kind of the what's the word I'm looking for? The Scott, what am I looking for? Kind of the resounding voice among all of us is we just want the figures in hand.
I was going to guess stool softener. I was way
okay, perfect.
I wasn't sure what you were looking for. You know what I'm wondering too is with this line, it seems like a lot of collectors really aren't upset about the whole packaging issue. Right. I really think a lot of people are going to be displaying, because of the great job you did on the packaging where you can slide the back off and keep everything intact. I think a lot of these are going to be displayed loose. So at the end of the day, I don't think it's honestly a huge deal.
I'm surprised too, to be honest.
Yeah, well, this is kind of a grail figure for a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm really surprised, by the amount of people that were like, oh, don't worry about it. We just, I'm taking out a package.
Exactly.
I think I got a combined of 50 or 60 messages of people like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll just display it. And then there are a whole bunch of people saying, oh, we'll take it anyway.
Yes.
So they were like, oh, if anyone canceled, just put us on the waiting list and stuff. So
yeah.
That was pretty overwhelming.
So from all of this, have you gotten any cancellations?
Surprisingly, no.
Okay.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
There was none.
So it's one of those, the factory now understands, crisis averted. We're looking forward to getting our figures here shortly because they're on their way to Asylum, right?
That's how you know you have a hit on your hands.
Yeah,
I think Asylum has got theirs, but they're also waiting on the stickers on the blue one. So once they get theirs, they're gonna ship out. I am actually waiting for the boxes to come, because I've ordered some new delivered boxes for the figures, because the other ones are not gonna fit. So I'm waiting on them. Not only that, another issue that I got upset with the factory was when they sent the figures over, there were nothing to kind of like cover the packages. So no sort of like a tissue like paper or bubble wrap and stuff like that. So there may be minor scratches on the figures. I don't know if you guys can see it. There's like a little bit here already
on the bubble.
This one. Yeah. So I wasn't happy with that, and I kind of let them have it on that. So they're aware.
What I'm gonna say is that I know, kind of switching course a little bit, you gave away the production sample 1 of 1 at our meetup, and the guy that won it, he made the comment. He goes, "I didn't even know this existed until 5 minutes ago. And now this is one of the coolest things I've ever received." And he was like holding it. His name was Gonzo. He was holding it just like, "Oh my God, this thing is amazing."
Yeah.
he was floored by it. He was absolutely floored by how good it was. The bullhead, just everything, the COA that went along with it. He was just floored by it.
And I didn't see it in hand until we were on the way to Philadelphia. Well, before we got on the plane for Philadelphia, Jeff showed me, because we were switching bags and all that and packing it up. He got to show me the Mantaur, so I literally got to hold it in hand. And man, if you do have the additional available, I would tell everybody, go take a look at the reviews on this product. And if you're a fan of 90s WWF and you collected Hasbro figures and you've got a collection, you've got to add this one to it. It fits right in. It is so great. It captures everything that was great about Hasbro in the look, the feel, the accessory. Everything is just so right about it.
I'll be straight and honest. This is Daniel's work, like big time. And I remember when Daniel was saying that when I asked him to make the bullhead, he was like, "You got to give me a month on it." and I said, can you make it earlier? He was like, "Yeah, I probably will need a month." And I was like, "Okay, fine." So he told me that he was like doing all the little bits for the bullhead, little bit by little bit. Like I saw the whole progress, and I was like, "Damn, that's work."
Yeah,
it paid off,
and he did a tremendous job.
He really did. Yeah, he really did.
And and a lot of people that have already held it. For example, before we even went up to the meetup, a few of our listeners and friends were up in the room because we had it stashed away up in a room. And a lot of our listeners that had kind of ventured up there with us to kind of move stuff around was holding it. And they were like, "This is amazing." Like quite a few of them had already pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
And they were just like, "I can't wait to get this." They were trying to find ways to take the production sample. So they were trying to find a way to steal it.
Rig the contest, maybe.
Rig the contest before it made it over to the meetup. But
I'm sure they probably go, how much is that going to cost you guys? So like, come on, here's $100, right? Stuff like that.
As $1 Million Man said, everybody's got a price, right? No, but I mean, among everybody, I mean, it's a great figure. It's worth the wait. And like a lot of people said, we just want the figures. I mean, it sucks that the factory kind of messed up some things that, but it's okay. Crisis averted. We're all happy that we're going to be getting it. And now we look forward to getting our PN news.
Speaking of PN news, I actually have the carded sample with me.
Oh, are we giving this away?
No,
no. I've done enough.
Ones were already given out. The carded samples come with me. Okay. So, this is the initial carded sample that did not pass, and you can see the package, which was the same as the one before. In terms of the big bubble and stuff like that, which I did not approve, and PN News was upset as well when he saw that. And that's the good thing about PN News. He's got a really good mind, when he looks at the package and go, okay, you know what, this is not going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And, I didn't like it either because I felt this was too big. And it made the figure looking like really empty. And I wasn't for it. So, initially the accessories were putting on the side.
Right.
And as you can see, the bit for the necklace, they had that upside down.
Oh.
So yeah, they had that upside down, and I pointed that out. Like, we didn't realize it. I was like, oh god, another one of those, right?
More hand holding.
So and I was like, I'm not going to prove this, and they were like, oh, so how do you want it? I said, do it like this instead.
There you go.
So
Okay.
I said I want the accessories on the figure, and let's cut the bubble in half. They were like, oh, that's gonna be extra cost on the on the tooling on the bubble and stuff like that. And I was like, just do it. I'm going to have figures that have smaller accessories like this. I mean, I'm already thinking ahead and like, think about the Yoshitatsu. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yoshitatsu will only have the vest. So, this sort of bubble will be perfect for a figure like Yoshi.
Absolutely.
And not only that, and one of the things that Max from Porter and I were talking the other day, we may try for, say, for example, Los Conquistadors and La Resistance for Series 2, we may try to put the two figures into one bubble like this.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking when I saw that size. Yep.
In single style package.
Yep.
It may be a little bit cramped, but I think it can work.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that's also an angle we're looking at right now. Because if we can, then how should I put this? This big bubble is not going to be used a lot. Because there are not too many figures with big accessories. Comic Kid will be perfect for this as well.
For sure. And Shawn, as a MOC collector, I respect the hell out of uniform packaging. So having having your 2-packs and your single packs on the same size card is amazing because you can display these and they're all going to look very uniform on the wall. So I actually dig that uniform packaging a lot.
I'm not saying that it can work 100% because we still have to work out in terms of how, can we stretch out the inside bubble to make sure that both of them are going to be able to fit inside.
Right.
But I think it can work.
I think so too.
If not, then we'll just go with the 2-pack style then.
Yeah.
Scott, what were you going to say? You were going to say something about the Mantaur figure?
Yeah. Shawn, I don't know if you were listening to last week's show, but we were talking about WrestleCon. And one of the moments that happened there that I thought was really cool is when Jeff went up to the Powers of Pain, he had them sign his Epic Toys 2-pack of the retro figures. And Warlord and Barbarian signed it. And Warlord goes, can I take this and show somebody this really quick? Jeff goes, yeah, no problem. Warlord took that 2-pack over to the Boogeyman. Yeah. And he was showing the Boogeyman how cool it was, the quality. And they must have talked, Jeff, 5-10 minutes, something like that?
Yeah, it was around there.
And brought it back to Jeff, and he goes, hey, thanks, I appreciate that. And Jeff goes, what were you showing him for? And he goes, I was showing him because these independent toy makers, they take better care of us than the big companies do. He goes, they actually want to take care of us and our families, whereas the big companies are just looking to make, as much as they can out of us. But these smaller toy makers actually want to see us thrive. So I definitely wanted to pass that along to you because you are making a difference, and word is starting to spread amongst the quote unquote boys that there are companies out there that they want to sign you, but they'll also take care of you too. So word is definitely spreading about figures in general, but specifically the smaller companies like you.
I appreciate that.
A Warlord specifically said, he goes, the third party makers are giving us, say, like $5 a figure, and he said Vince. He didn't say WWE.
He was saying Vince, yeah.
He kept saying Vince. He said Vince gave us pennies on the dollar, where these third party are giving us $5 per figure. So that's from the Warlord specifically.
I could say I probably give the bigger cuts than any of the companies are offering for people that don't know. I probably told you guys this before as well, and it's because one, I'm an outside company, not within the realm of the quote unquote Western world. I mean, you got companies from the UK, you got companies from the US. I'm the only company not in any of those. As far as the whole retro line is concerned. So I throw a bigger cut comparing to everybody. And I kind of expect my line will not have such a big, how should I put this, a production size comparing to most. And that's why when I planned the line, I didn't go with majority of the big names. Like big names. One, I knew that pretty much, the big names will be done by God knows how many companies out there. And we've seen it, and the big companies would go with the big guys. So I went down the list and was thinking, okay, you know what? Who hasn't had their figures made before? Or, who has had maybe a couple of the figures that were made of them, but not in a big scale? I mean, I think out of the entire Series 1, Yoshi is the only one that has a quote-unquote big company figure made of him.
Right.
And everyone else hasn't. Comic Kid hasn't, Mike hasn't, Paul haven't. Like, none of them had. Yeah. So, it's a little bit of a difference. I mean, if I go to Series 2 right now, have a look, Los Conquistadors haven't had their figures made before, ever. Renee and Sylvan, they had a whole bunch of figures made when they were in WWE back in the day with Jags, with Ruthless Aggression figures, but that's about it. TJP with a couple of the Mattel figures that he's made, Taka Michinoku, he had a couple of the Japanese figures made of him, and
he had some Jacks too.
Yeah, a couple of Jacks, with the Bendies and the Slammers.
Right.
But like I said, none of them made his face correct. And Taka's face is probably the hardest to make.
You were mentioning that the last time we talked to you, that you guys are having a hard time with it.
Getting very close of getting the new head done. Right now, the main problem is we have to get the stroke of hair, properly done in the front. So this is the toughest part. Daniel tried a couple of ways. Like, we had to go back to Daniel. Because, like, everybody else that tried just failed miserably. And, there were a couple of ones that Daniel tried to make. And I think he's going to be able to finalize it this weekend. And that's one reason why I want to move Series 2 to, say, August. For pre-order, because then that way we have more time to like get everything done. Because the say for example, Taka's accessory is going to be the robe, so it's going to be a soft good robe. I may end up having Los Conquistadors having a plastic cape instead of a soft good.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I may have to do that. Because kind of checked the fabrics when I was in the factory a while back, and I wasn't too impressed with the fabric that will come out. So I was thinking I probably will have to tell Daniel and go, can you just kind of make the cape for me, and stuff. I think it may actually be more presentable in terms of how it looks, but with Taka's robe is a little bit different because the retro style figure is not really good with fabric goods, especially for something like that kind of robe. The La Resistance, the flags are definitely going to be plastic.
That makes sense.
Like I said, if I'm going to use fabric for that, unless I really have the wind blowing it like all the time to make sure it flies, it's not really gonna look that good.
So the Hasbro flags were plastic, so it's fine.
Yeah, well, remember the Hacksaw flag? That one was taken off the G.I. Joe Gung Ho. Yeah, it's the same one.
Okay.
How do I know? Because I had the Gung Ho.
Yo, Joe.
For the people that don't know, it's the Battle Corps 1994 edition Gung Ho.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with the black headband on the top.
There you go,
Completely
Jeff.
bald head. Yeah. So, for the people that want to have a look, or the people who want to get, say they had that hacksaw, but, didn't, kind of lost the flag, for replacement, that's probably, something for you. Yeah.
There you go.
A couple things before we wrap up here. Any update to the second articulated or unarticulated or smaller figures?
Not yet.
That you were.
I can tell you right now, not yet.
I have to ask every single time. I do.
I mean, I wanted to, but this has filled up so much of my time lately. So I have not been doing any following up. As much as I want to.
Second, those Hasbro figures that you received in.
Mm-hmm. Scott hasn't seen some of it yet.
I have not. Only what you posted on Facebook. That's it.
Well, the one that everyone was talking about was the Rick Steiner, and you can see the entire deck codes, in terms of colors and stuff like that, were all different, and the boot colors as well.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. How many people have reached out to purchase those from you?
Just for the Rick Steiner. Somehow, no love for Scott.
Yeah.
But if you have a look, that you can look closely right now, then you can see there is indeed deco differences.
Right. Yeah.
And even some of the colors as well.
If you were to sell those,
not going to happen.
I
can tell you right now, not going to happen.
What would be the asking price if you were to ever sell those?
The highest offer I've had right now is $12,000.
Oh man.
The highest offer I've had is $12,000, and I said no.
Okay. Man.
I mean, look at it like
that's
this.
Hard to
right?
walk away from. Oh man.
If I have the red card, Red Heart, with the black elbow pads, okay, the missing green tag, I had offered for $30K, and I still said no. Why in the hell am I going to sell this one when nobody else has it?
That is true. That is true.
Right.
So are you tempted to send it to any toy grader or anything like that? Or
Eventually.
Okay.
You guys haven't seen this one yet. Okay. This one is the mock-up of the Scott Steiner.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And Mr. Perfect.
And you can see there's no Mr. P decos on the side of the boot, and the back. There's this no black triangle thing in the back.
Right.
It's just one complete yellow singlet.
Yeah, it's a yellow singlet and white boots.
And speaking of Mr. Perfect, there's this one.
Oh wow. With black hair.
With the black hair, but I mean, they obviously were testing the paint, and they were obviously testing this kind of like use it for Scott Steiner testing and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. So this one's a little bit interesting, and then
kind of looks like Waylon Mercy actually.
And then there is the Repo Man without the front decals.
Wow.
On the torso. So this one again, I'm keeping as well. And then there's Nails. I've had people saying, "Oh, you scrubbed off the numbers on the front pockets," which is not true.
Right.
Because there's no
look
paint
at the
on
boots.
the boots as well.
Yeah.
And also the collar wasn't painted.
That's right.
So the only thing that it has is this at the back.
Right.
But
the number
every
on the
single
back.
bits were like that. And also the problem that I've had with this Nails was that, and it happened to some of the Hasbro figures I received. I think it's because they were left in this pile of box for too long. And what happened was, some of them were kind of like crushed together.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the back of the boots were broken.
Yep.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's like where the peg hole is. That got crushed. Yep.
Yeah, that got crushed, and that's why some of them can't stand, because they were so pushed together. And like I have this Tatanka, that's the leg is like going up like sideways big time. It's like he can do a spinning kick or something.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah. It's just it's pretty bad for some of them. That's why you see some of them selling in my store for like $3. because I got to be honest with it. Like, I've made my money back with these 6 already. So why not sell the other ones cheap?
Yeah, everything else is gravy after that.
That's why you see a whole bunch of Hasbro like selling cheap, and like there were a whole bunch of people asking me to go, because I think I had like 11 or was it 12 purple razors from the lot.
Wow.
And some of them couldn't stand because of the aforementioned, and I was like, okay, you know what? They can't stand. I'm not gonna sell them for like $100 or something. Come on.
Yeah.
So I throw them out for like $40.
Not bad. Not bad. Because you could put them inside of a card case like Jeff does with his. And they'll stand.
And someone in the UK just like scoop up a whole bunch of them.
Oh, wow.
Like whenever I put them up, you just go boom, all gone. And a couple of guys were like, oh, I really want to pick up the razor. You're going to have any more of them? I said, no, they're all gone.
Not until the next find.
I hope.
Well, Shawn, as we wrap it up, are you ready?
Oh, boy, again?
Yes, you just keep that sticky note right next to those passwords, man. Just pull off and start reading up. Do you want to get your plugs out of the way?
Okay, make sure you guys shop at shopkwk.com. This is the one that I always remember. So, that starts off first. Make sure you guys shop at shopkwk.com. My X is K Shawn SHAWNNG. See, I remember now. With my Instagram is KWK_Shawn. And also follow Facebook at KWK Kayfabe Wrestling Collector with the K.
You know what? As a we all appreciate the transparency that you give regarding your figures. I know,
absolutely.
I know Saturday night and Sunday. Well, for you, Sunday morning wasn't easy. So you did it. You did it right. We're going to be expecting our figures late April, early May, right?
Well, they are going to be delivering early next week. Like as soon as the box comes in form, I'm packing.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then if you order from Asylum, they're just waiting on the stickers, right?
Yeah, they're just waiting on stickers. So, I would say any day now. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So anytime in April. Perfect. Just like you've always said from the beginning.
That's exactly what you had said.
I'm pushing for PN News now so that I can get them in late April, delivering like right in the beginning of May. Okay. That's what I'm pushing for right now. Comic Kid, as far as I know, the factory is still fixing the armor because the gauntlet is where the main problem is. When we try to them up when we were at the prototype phase, it just wasn't great. And there were a couple of things that needed fixing and whatnot, and the factory's on that right now. The Yoshi, there needs to be a little bit of rescaling on the original file. I may have to have someone else do it because what happened was the previous guy, with I'm not even trying to point fingers at anybody. When the previous that were scaling the prototypes, the renders rather, he just left the project, and the file that I ended up received, it was a 2-up version.
Oh,
so yeah. So when the factory got theirs, and it was like, hey, how come it doesn't fit? Now, the vest file when they received it was the 1-up instead of the 2-up, but the figure itself was the 2-up. So it's another one of those deals where we have to fix, but the good thing is we're still a couple of months away, so there's still time.
Well, we appreciate your transparency, Shawn. I mean, it really means a lot. We don't get this from a lot of companies, when stuff like this, goes under fire, you're right there to say, hey, here's what's going on. So we appreciate that, man.
I mean, I'll be straight and honest. If I fuck up, I fuck up. I'll take the heat. Like every single time, if I fuck up, hey, you know what? I take the heat. I think that's a better way to go with things. I kind of learned that from Paul Heyman when he was running ECW. Mm-hmm. Just trying not to run it to the ground like Paul Heyman did, with ECW, but
and make sure you pay the boys.
Yeah.
You know how to handle finances better than him, probably. So,
well, I'm constantly on the phone with PNUs, like virtually, I would say probably once a week.
Okay.
And because we are working on a podcast as well.
Oh, good.
Besides Yoshi's podcast, which we haven't had much updates lately because he's been so busy. I'm also working on additional product for the KWK brand, which is t-shirts. My new kid, Junjie, we were talking on the phone, and I said to him, you know what, might just well get your figures out as well. I mean, even in small scale, I mean, I'm looking at the potential of the KWK line. As far as I look at it, the KWK line has now branded into something that helps the smaller guys more, or talents that are completely, I wouldn't say completely, but mostly forgotten, and this actually helps these talents more. Because I mean, let's be honest, the big names, even if I don't sign them, there'll be a whole bunch of people signing those guys anyway. A whole bunch of companies is gonna be willing to sign them. That's why when people were talking to me about Great Muta, I said, one, Great Muta's percentage, I cannot afford it. I'll be straight and honest. I'm not gonna throwing all my eggs into one basket.
Right.
Just because his name's Great Muta.
Yeah.
But I can say I may not have signed Great Muta, but I have signed the Great Kabuki.
Oh, whoa. That's an exclusive, folks.
Wait, that's official?
Official. I would say Great Kabuki is probably, in terms of the cut, is probably the lowest of the entire brand because he wanted the money up front.
Okay.
And, the money was sent to him just before the Mantaur figures came in. And they've received the money earlier this week.
Nice.
So I have plans of doing something really, really interesting with the Kabuki figure. One of the thing was, the last time I was in Japan, Yoshi was a great interpreter, I have to say. Oh my God. And, now I get to say it, I've been holding that off for like several months now. So, I can finally let you guys know, Basically what happened was we sat down and talked for an hour, and Great Kabuki showed me the D16 figure, the one that they had done with the company in Japan. And, because the hands were open and like, the nunchucks were like just hanging on the hands. And once I looked at that, I said to him, I said, this is not going to happen with my line. You don't have to worry about it. I said, you get the two nunchucks, the hands are going to be holding the nunchucks.
Mm-hmm.
So right away, I see the smile on Kabuki's face. I was like thinking, oh yeah, I got it. Yes. Right. So I was thinking, was he smiling? I was like, yes, I got it. And his wife was there as well. And his wife was really, really nice lady. Like, oh my God, like I have his wife's direct contact. So I talk to her all the time. A lot of the older Japanese wrestlers now have their wives running businesses for them. So his wife has to be there and like talk through the whole thing. I first thought his wife wasn't going to be nice because initially she was a little bit stiff. And once I discussed more and like, they were like, oh, okay. I see the smiles going up and I was like, oh yeah, I got it. Right. So basically I'm not going to go with when he first debuted in, I believe myself, with Gary Hart. But more of the later versions where he has that chainmail head with the black gear.
Okay.
And the plan is to do a minimum order of 500. If it exceeds it, then even better.
Nice.
So,
perfect.
So the minimum for this is 500. I'm hoping there will be more, but I have not slotted the figure into the lineup yet. So
okay.
we'll have to see which series. Like worst case scenario, I'll probably have to push him all the way to series 4.
A lot of the Japan fans are going to be in on that one.
Oh, for sure. Well, congrats on Kabuki, Shawn. That's outstanding. I'm super happy for you.
And also, can I say another one?
Please.
Yeah, go for it.
We got Laredo Kid.
You picked up Laredo Kid too?
Laredo Kid, yes. We got Laredo
nice.
Kid. He signed late last year. I have been keeping it off for quite some time. But yeah, he signed. So besides Samurai Del Sol, he's going to be another luchador that's going to be in the lineup as well.
Awesome.
So yeah, so there's quite a few names that you don't normally see popping up.
Yeah.
Also one, this one is an interesting one because he left AEW, and it just so happens that I was one of the first guy to contact him. Again, it's a masked wrestler, but I don't know if you want to classify him as a luchador. Okay. Is Fuego del Sol.
So you are just scooping up some names right now, aren't you?
Not big names again. I think the biggest of the lines so far we've had, I would say probably Orient Express and Great Kabuki. PN News, I would say he was well known. Mike, he was well known. Taka, obviously, but as far as like huge names, you don't see me go for them.
Don't sell yourself short though, Shawn. Honestly, like the wrestlers are talking, right? And I think when you go big game fishing, I think that you'll have an audience. So I would say definitely do not sell yourself short.
Well, the thing is that I don't want to go for the big names here. That's the thing.
Maybe not yet.
People were talking to me and go, oh, are you going to go for like Road Warriors as well? You're going to go for Macho Man? You're going to go for Ric Flair and like stuff like that, right? And I was thinking, you know what? How many figures, Savage is gonna have? How many Flairs are they gonna have? Like, yes, I know people are gonna buy them, but there's this big pool of wrestlers out there.
Yeah.
That you can easily sign. Then why not go with some names, say for example, figures that I've never done before? I mean, you see it with the KWK line, Mantaur, PN News, Comic Kid, let's not talk about Yoshi, but there are variations that of Yoshi that has never been done before.
Correct.
Like ever. Los Conquistadors, like we were talking about. All of these, they are not like massive names. And why not incorporate these guys into the line? Because let's be honest, the style is well established in the community. So why not create something for these guys that can capture the Hasbro / retro audience? To make them something as well.
And there isn't to be a demand for a lot of those names that you just did sign. So
oh, absolutely, yeah. Especially Kabuki, because he was there in around 94, 95. So that that automatically slots you right into the Hasbro era.
Right. But to me, it's that there's going to be something really interesting with Kabuki that I'm going to even make the Poison Mist accessory as well.
Nice. It's a must. That's going to be so awesome.
That has been something that was talked about with Great Kabuki, because he wanted really to capture some of those look and stuff like that. And let's be honest, I know Great Muta make the make the Poison Mist very well known. Okay. And Tajiri made it even more known to the modern day WWE audience, right?
Right.
But the originator of it, come on, it's Great Kabuki that did the Poison Mist.
Yeah.
So I would rather go with that. And I mean, I've said it before, like there are a couple of names that I want to sign. I mean, for example, like Mr. Pogo. Think about Mr. Pogo, when he was in FMW, with the sickle, with the fire and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's a name that a lot of people don't know, but Mr. Pogo is, if you turn it into a toy, it's going to be a really fun looking figure.
Well, Shawn, we do appreciate you coming on and giving a KWK State of the Union address, man. And don't worry, us collectors just want the figures in hand. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to getting those on the doorstep. So we definitely
you guys will beginning to get notifications next week. That I can be sure of. Yeah.
Can't wait, man. All right, Shawn, we greatly appreciate it. And congrats on the names that you just signed too. So thank you for announcing that over here. So thank you again, Shawn.
Thank you, Shawn.
Yeah. Fullyposeable. Let's go. Jeff and Scott, the Toon Brothers, busting out the ring, but we don't take it out the box. MOC. Happy toy hunting. We'll see you next week. We're the OGs of WFP. Fullyposeable, thank you all for listening. It ain't no storyline, real life siblings. So everybody go and do your toy spotting. #FigLife, adios from the Kings.